'cause it's eating me up inside.
Alright, don't want to get the YouTube music police on me. It's not about monetization, it's having to have a song that hits YouTube's block list worldwide, therefore the whole video goes down. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the shop today, featuring the KM61 by, well, probably my favorite vintage audio badge, which is Fisher Audio of New York City, a company that is legendary amongst collectors, a company whose products today, if you can find them, are very high in price, and they command great premiums over other units of the era. There's a very specific reason for that. Let's talk first about the difference between a tuner and a combined stereo amplifier. You do see I have a little amplifier here, my True Test 1-watt wonder. I call it the mighty might of the shop. I like to use it. It's small, it's convenient, it's easy, and it looks real cool. But let's talk, we're here to talk about the tuner today. Tuners have one function to perform. That is to take a signal that's coming out of broadcast over the air, in this case FM only, take that signal, make it as clean and as listenable as possible, and then inject that signal into an amplifier. That's their function. Grab a signal, make it great. Well, Fisher took a lot of time. Avery Fisher, pioneering his company in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, took a lot of time to make sure that when he developed his systems, they were as true to life in performance as if you were sitting in a concert hall. And Avery Fisher's whole story is interesting. When he was a child, I believe he studied violin, and occasionally he would be able to go to concerts at concert halls in New York City. And he was so inspired by what he would hear at these concerts that he would go to the record shop and buy, well, at that time, early high fidelity records. He would take them home, put them on the record player, and he was bitterly disappointed and complained that the quality out of the recordings would never match what he heard in that concert hall. And as a result of those experiences, he made it his life's mission to produce audio equipment that would be as true to what you would hear in a concert hall as well as possible with engineering. And he was always pushing the boundaries with his engineers. He was so well regarded, and he left such a legendary status in the audio world that the Avery Fisher Music Hall in New York City was named after him. What a fitting tribute to such a man of excellence. Well, I was very lucky. I don't even remember where I picked up this KM61 unit. It was a kit unit. Back in the late 50s and early 60s, it became popular. Many people, particularly men, were interested in trying to get into electronics. And the manufacturer started to produce the components, put them in a box, have instruction manual. If you had a little bit of soldering, a little ability, and a little bit of ability to follow directions step by step, and to be able to check your work in case you made an error using a schematic, which is like an electronic roadmap for how something works, then you could put together a kit. And this is called the Strata kit, that was built by somebody in probably 1961 or 1962. And I have to say, they did a great job. Now, as for today, we're going to take a look at some of the internal guts, some of the things that make this such a great unit. Fisher had very robust filtering systems. He had top-of-the-line tubes. Everything that you could put into this unit was top-of-the-line, and it commanded a very high price. The tubes themselves, if you can find them today, Fisher audio tubes command tremendous premiums over well, remanufactured ones out of China and Russia, and even new old stock original RCAs, Sylvanias, GEs, etc. The quality was so superb, and the build out was so extreme that by the time that signal routed through that whole roadmap of electronic wiring, tubes, transformers, filters, things like that, that signal came out as a thing of beauty and beautiful stereo broadcast sound. You could listen in mono or you could listen in stereo. These are very simple. There's only 4 buttons on the front of these, one of them being on off, another being a filter to cut out some of the high frequencies that might be disturbing, a stereo mono button, as well as the tuning knob itself. Simple on the front, elegant. The badge, the typical, the legendary Fisher badging of the bird in flight, like a dove with carrying a note in its beak. Really beautiful. I like the champagne color that they used in that era too. It just made it nice. I don't have a wood case for this. If I did, if I was able to find an original one, I would be paying $300 to $400 for those cases, because they were made of solid walnut and they were gorgeous, and they set off that champagne color of the faceplate so well that they're just things of beauty. They really are. Let's talk about collectability, and once again, a real piece of advice to you. Many people contact me, vintage audio enthusiasts. I have one of the greatest private collections, at least in the state of California, of significant items in the history of audio. And they'll ask me, what should I look for in the way of a vintage audio piece? I tell you, the most important thing, and you're not going to believe it, is the beauty of the unit itself. How does it look on the faceplate? Is it a nice looking unit? Does it have marks on it or scuffs? Or is the silk screening? Are the letters missing on it? Those kind of things knock off a lot of value. So if you're going to invest in something like a piece of vintage audio equipment, congratulations to you. These devices, these tuners, these amplifiers hold their value tremendously, and they're very collectible. So instead of going down to Best Buy and having one of those ugly, shiny, slick looking black boxes with the blue LED readouts, you can have a real piece of history, enjoy the romance, the glow of the tubes, and have something that's going to hold its value, and not make a trip from the big box store to the dump. Okay, that's what makes these things so collectible. If you've enjoyed the video today, please thumbs up. Please know this will be added to the Vintage Audio Listening Experience playlist. There's many videos down there that you can go check out and enjoy. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you've landed here, please consider doing so. It would be my honor to welcome you. And thumbs up, as usual, are always appreciated. I get a lot of requests to do things in the shop, so it is a hot one here today. But I'm happy to do this and showcase this wonderful KM61 Fisher 1961 tube stereo tuner. So with that, let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the unit down there. You can see the full complement of what I was talking about with the tubes that are in here. Very high quality tubes. Some of them are Fisher original tubes. And look at the shielding that they use. It's very important to protect these units from what's called spurious signals. Electronic devices do emit radiation and things that can be picked up by other tubes and incorporated in the pathway. But Fisher's almost unique in the way that he shielded all of his tubes here to try to eliminate as much of that spurious transmissions as possible, so they wouldn't get in the electronic pathway. There's a very robust tuner under here, not the tuner, but the tuning capacitor itself. the big wheel that has a lot of vanes in it there that goes back and forth when you turn the tuner knob here, and you can see the build quality is great. You're looking at it upside down, but that is the Fisher Strata kit, model KM61, Fisher Radio Corporation of New York City. Focus. Sorry about that. On the front of it, I was telling you about the beauty of the unit. It is stereophonic. It does have mono and stereo capability. Simple filter to cut out some of the high frequencies, which are a little harder to process. A power button, and then the tuning knob itself. Now, as we listen today, oh, and by the way, there's that beautiful Fisher badge, the dove I was telling you about with the note in its mouth. It was traditional, and I believe it's still used today on Fisher products. I will be using the True Test 1 watt Mighty Might here today to take the signal and output it. So with that, let's go ahead and oh, it's another thing too, always make sure you have a good antenna hooked up on these units so you get the best quality of receiving. Okay, no doubt about it. Let's go ahead now and do a bit of a listening experience. I'm going to dim the lights here so we enjoy the whole sort of cinematic effect here. Once again, thank you for being here today, and thumbs up are always appreciated.